over 12 reporters covering the conflict across multiple nations, airing version on all sides and showing you the devastation on the ground. Russia has now been raining missiles on Kyiv. It's the Battle of Kyiv. Will Putin only halt after the fall of Kyiv? Let's debate.
Republic's 12-member team has been covering all sides of the conflict and has traversed over 18 cities where the bombardment took place. And now Russia is targeting the territory of Kyiv.
Kyiv has been completely encircled. That's not true. Take a look where we are right now. This is the center of Kyiv. It's not really encircled. You don't find the Russians as yet. Ukrainians have been able to defend the capital city. Many youngsters like Oleksiy, they have decided not to leave their homeland. They've decided to fight for their country.
He can't win at our army. Our army is holding the ground. So he started to fight with unarmed people, with pregnant women like in Mariupol, with children, with just civilians who just live. So that's a genocide in 21st century in the middle of Europe.
The mayor of Kyiv stood amidst destroyed buildings to show the gravity of the threat ordinary Ukrainians face.
It is very important to understand how the leaders of Poland, Czech Republic and Slovenia are heading to Kyiv on a European Union mission to show their support for the embattled country.
Szanowni Państwo, mniej więcej godzinę temu pociąg, na pokładzie którego znajduje się premier Mateusz Morawiecki, wicepremier do spraw bezpieczeństwa Jarosław Kaczyński oraz premierzy Czech i Słowenii przekroczył granicę polsko-ukraińską. Delegacja kieruje się do Kijowa.
Despite the 4th rounds of talks being held, President Zelensky addressed the joint expeditionary force meeting and called for the actions against Russia.
I know that we are united in our...
Before Russia advanced further on, the sanction policy should be such that no one could even think about any advance of the war, and we have to disconnect the Russian banks from SWIFT completely.
These are the trucks which we are since morning showing you the army convoy moving to and fro. Remember, if we talk about this very river, it has a lot of strategic importance. If Russia is able to control much of this river, then it will be able to control the flow of commerce which is there in Ukraine.
Of course, it should be negotiated, and this ceasefire will take place when conditions that were put forward by Russia will be implemented, and they are very well known.
As you can see behind me, these men here are working to repair this roof. That is because there was a direct hit of a artillery shell or mortar shell of some type hitting this roof and destroying this roof.
Kyiv remains resolute. It does. But will Putin halt the attacks given the repeated Ukrainian assurances? Let's debate.
Peter Zalmayev is with us tonight. Bohdan Nahalo, chief editor of the Kyiv Post. Nikita Mendovich of the Eurasian Analytical Club from Moscow. And Sergei Krivoruchko is joining us from Siberia. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to start by asking you, Nikita, can you please tell me what is the idea? I'm not understanding anymore. What is the Russian intention? If Zelensky has said that NATO is not on the table, I don't understand. Why are you beginning to bomb the Kiev region? Why are you killing more people? What are you trying to prove? If the issue is Donbass, then why are you encircling Kiev?
isn't the country which started the war. We came just to finish it. War was started by Ukraine, who committed aggression against people of Donbass, who killed more than 10,000 of people there, who prepared war against Russia, who started develop a nuclear military program, who developed biological weapons. Russia have no choice but to stop this threat. Of course, I understand that Mr. Zalmayev, a well-known CIA agent, is disagree with me because fascists in Kyiv are allies of United States. It is a puppet regime of United States. But you know, Russia thinks more about Ukrainian people than Mr. Zalmayev or Mr. Zelensky or any other American agency at the Ukraine. We want to stop this war.
No, is everybody, 1 minute, Mr. Menkovich, you are saying today that Peter is a CIA agent. And maybe the next thing that you will say is that Bohdan is also a CIA agent, right? I'm not going to say whose agent you are.
Sorry.
But tell me, are all the people of, I said I'm not going to tell, am I calling you a FSB agent, an ex-KGB agent? Am I calling you anyone's agent?
You can't.
Am I calling you a Chinese spy?
If you want,
I'm not asking you, but I'm asking you: are all the people of Kiev? Are all the people of Kiev CIA agents?
If you don't want to,
no, are all the people of Kiev CIA agents?
Mr. Zalmayev,
you're seeming rattled right now because I don't understand why you're encircling Kiev. I want Peter to come into the debate. The debate is open.
By his intelligence agency to Ukraine in 2014. His mission was to help break order in Ukraine and to build an anti-Russian government there. Also, Mr. Zalmayev is well known by his ties with Belarusian extremists. He was part of the conspiracy to prepare a so-called revolution in 2020, 2 years ago.
Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. It's too funny. Okay, if you let me, can I interject at this point? Mr. Arnab, can I come in?
Please.
Okay, Mr. Arnab, can I come in, please, and comment? Let's talk.
Yeah, but when Nikita stops, Nikita's not stopping.
So far, we're hearing ad hominem.
Please stop him. You're the moderator, or are we going to listen to this for the next half hour?
Yeah,
this is rubbish. Come on, Russian cheap propaganda.
Let me come in. Let's stop this.
Mendovich, shut up.
Okay.
Peter is responding. Thank you, Bohdan. Peter. Nikita, yes, thank you. I gave you the opening round. It's time for Peter to respond. Thank you.
Very quickly, just to address these allegations. You know, there is a trashy kind of tabloid TV station called NTV in Russia, which ran a kind of a hit job and pinned the blame on the unrest in Kazakhstan a couple of months ago on me. Did a kind of a really terrible job putting together like names and people that I didn't even know. But that just shows you the kind of quality of propaganda they have there now. They don't even bother to do their fact check. Obviously, it's all rubbish, needless to say. But to the substance of what our Russian participants said, it's obvious to the world that Vladimir Putin's intentions in Ukraine have all along been this 19th century style kind of war of conquest. He knows NATO does not really present a credible threat to Russia. He wants Ukraine's territory. He wants access to the sea. He also is not very happy with Ukrainian model of liberal democracy because it presents an alternative and a very attractive alternative to what has developed under Vladimir Putin. Increasingly, Russia has resembled the Gulag. Indeed, it is a Gulag, And so, to his point that, this is a war of defense. We heard it in 1938, 39, when Hitler attacked Poland, by saying that Poland attacked him, staging a provocation and blaming it on the small Poland. I mean, the playbook is known to all. It's just I'm sitting here wondering: do people in the Kremlin, do ordinary Russians even see these parallels that are so glaring? They claim they never waged any wars of conquest ever in their history. And Sergei Lavrov said something at the press conference the other day that, we never even invaded Ukraine in the first place. I mean, guys, can you even comment on this? Can you even have an argument with people who refuse to acknowledge facts and lie in all of our faces? I mean, these are all rhetorical questions I'm raising, but this is we're dealing with a true empire of lies. There's no.
I'm just looking at where this is going, Peter. Peter, I'm just looking at where this is going. I'm just looking at where this is going, and Sergey, before I come to Bogdan, I'm just coming to you. I want to ask Sergey, just to go back to the Russian side. There are targeting of, in Mariupol, shopping centers, emergency service buildings, residential areas, maternity hospitals, apartments, pregnant women were injured. I mean, this is going crazy. In Kyiv, we have pictures of a 10-story residential building, 4 people killed. You see, this is... there is too much evidence now, and it appears to me somewhere, Sergey, that maybe because the fighting has gone on for too long and the Ukrainian people have resisted, that you don't know what to do now, that Putin doesn't know what to do. So he's just going all out. He's being indiscriminate. He's changing. Look at that building. It's a residential building. That's someone's home. Please don't tell me I made up this footage, Sergey. These are ordinary people's homes burning from the inside. Look at that, Sergey, okay? Yeah, Sergey, what are you doing? Is Russia losing the plot somewhere?
Russia isn't losing anything now, because the reason of these terrible bombings is activity of Kyiv army, who poses these troops near the civilian homes. There are a lot of conflicts around it. People asking these military men, these fascists, to change those places, to leave those cities free, to stop this terrible.
That question was to Sergey. I was asking Sergey. Nikita, can I get Sergey in? Because we won't get enough time. Sergey, over to you. That's the Sergey. Sergey, and then Bogdan will respond. Sergey first.
Yeah, thanks so much. I think that it's not maybe a good idea to blame anyone right now, because that we see that's what we see. And as you asked in the beginning, why and what happened. Actually, let me talk for a minute. After 2014, if you all know, Ukraine all the time was blaming Russia that Russia is, let's say, leading a war against Ukraine. And at this period of time, no one can prove any kind of evidence. No one can prove any kind of troops around, let's say, Donbass, Lugansk border or Ukrainian border, because we have all those, satellites all over the world and all that stuff around. No one can take a good picture of things, that there are troops. And during all this time, 7 or 8 years, we've been hearing about this attack. Now,
but I don't know how long you can sustain this, Sergey, your audio line is not very good. It's day 20 of the war. Let's be real. I want to go to Bogdan. There's day 20 of the war. Day 20. Don't tell me Putin planned for a 20-day battle, not even being able to take Kiev. Bogdan.
No. Okay, Arnab, first of all, let me speak. These Russian propagandists hog the air. Shut up. We've heard your propaganda. Can I speak now? Hey, propagandist, Putinist, fascist, killer of people, shut up. We've heard you. Let me speak. Listen, these cheap propagandists, I'm afraid that you take the lowest scum of the propagandist machine that Putin has. Why didn't you take the woman that was brave enough to go on Russian television yesterday and say that she's ashamed of being a Russian TV correspondent? Those are the real Russian heroes. We don't want to get into an argument here with these crude, propagandists. Let's look at the facts. They are destroying a country. They are destroying Ukraine. Indiscriminate heavy bombing. Have you heard from the Russians about one missile from Ukraine hitting a Russian city? One missile, one shell. No. It's totally one-sided, asymmetrical murder of a nation. These people are imperialists, 19th century imperialists, and Putin is a madman. And these people are getting good money. Look at him smiling because he's going to get his pay. He's a cheap propagandist of the sort that have now been banned in Europe. The Russias of today and the crude people like that. Yes, you're laughing. You've got blood on your hands, friend. Thousands of people, innocent people, have been killed by you as an accessory. You are in uniform as a journalist. You are a killer, and we don't want to talk to you. Who are you? You are a killer. You are defending a killer state, a pariah. Four states defended you in the United Nations General Assembly. North Korea being one of them, Syria, where you bombed the hell out of. Yes, Belarus. Are you ashamed of yourselves? No, because you feel good, because you've got a mighty dwarf who wants to be an emperor, a Caligula. The sooner that your Praetorian Guard gets rid of him, put an end to the conflict by putting an end to Putin. And maybe we can have normal
ladies and
relations
gentlemen.
I
think, okay. So I have one thing to say that I'm just getting breaking news here.
Talk with you.
I don't want
I think President Joe Biden of the US will travel to Europe next week for face-to-face talks with European leaders about the Russian invasion. This statement has just been made by the White House press secretary. And ladies and gentlemen, I think there's pressure that's building from China as well, on China as well. There's going to be talks in Rome. Pressure is building. The US National Security Advisor is talking to China. The only ones who can really help switch this off is China, if not America. China and America will have to sort this out. Viewers, big news day today. A lot of news coming in. More people on the ground, more reporters. We're taking every step to keep each one of them safe. And I shall see you tomorrow, same time. Good night and good night.